Hello and welcome back. Bitcoin still selling off, and we've reached a bit of a historical milestone, which we're going to get into in just a moment. But here we go. Of course, I'm sure you've seen the chart. Bitcoin less than 70k right now. At the time of recording, we are at a price of $67,239, down about 8% on the day to current prices. If we look at this, a slightly closer view, you can see we are bouncing just a little bit right now, but it has been pretty much selling off since yesterday, since the last time we made an update. There have, over the last 24 hours, been about $1.25 billion worth of long liquidations in the market. That number is increasing, but as we spoke about yesterday, the number of daily liquidations proportional to price moves that we're seeing is just reducing. There is less and less liquidation risk in this market. Every day that goes by, you can see over the last 4 hours, $600 million worth. Over the last 1 hour, about $460 million worth. And that is because the entire market is very, very upset. We're down again on the fear and greed index, down to 11, very much in extreme fear. Does it really make much of a difference at this point? Well, it does, because as more and more of the market get more despondent, more upset, more pissed off with what's going on, less and less participants start betting on the market. More and more people are out, they're done, either because they've been forced out by being liquidated or because they're emotionally capitulating and just selling. And if you believe my theory, which is just a theory, but ties in with what we've seen in past market cycles, we get closer to that point where it becomes basically impossible to manipulate price anymore, and you're just seeing more of a fair representation of supply and demand. And that, in my opinion, is the point at which this actually has some realistic chance of turning around. I mean, if you just look here on CoinMarketCap at the correlation between times that the market has been in fear, these are all pretty much preceding times when the market has gone up. Now, let me be clear, I don't think the market is about to shoot up tomorrow because we're at 11 on the fear and greed index, but my point is, this is what comes before what comes next, which is the market going up. How long this period lasts, I don't know. But what I do know is it ties into my strategy of long-term accumulation. That is a signal that I want to be accumulating more in these times, right? I mean, just a quick example. Okay, back in the best place to draw this from. Okay, back in March 2025, right? Extreme fear on the fear and greed index precedes the next leg up. Once we start getting into extreme greed, euphoria, that is a signal. Again, it's not a very accurate signal in terms of time resolution on that, but that is what comes before what comes next, which is the eventual sell-off. We even saw up movements after the last time we were in extreme fear. Okay, maybe not the up movement that everyone was looking for, but up movement nonetheless, right? Back in November of this year, we were in extreme fear just before the eventual move up. The last time everyone thought the market was absolutely cooked and everything was over. If we zoom this out, if we zoom out the chart to the daily time frame and just take a bit of a bird's eye view on this, we are getting closer to the area that would be my target, as I've spoken about in yesterday's video for this, which is essentially going to be the point of control drawn in from the range that we put in back between March 2024, and we'll end that at about the end of October 2024. It's rough, okay, it's not an exact science, but I would expect this to be an area of gravity for the market, and that's puts us down at about 63,000. We're just coming into the thick of that volume node right now. Okay, the point of control is the area of highest, or the price of highest volume, and the node describes the broader area of price, right? The range where the most volume was traded. And these areas tend to act as a magnet towards price. That's sort of what we're seeing now. Haven't seen a bounce really of any sort of significant proportion off the former resistance turn support. Arguably that is what has happened just now, but once again, the caveat to that is not been particularly significant, right? And I'm talking about the high here put in on the 28th of September. We have seen a bounce off that literally in the last hour or so, but honestly at this point I doubt that is going to be particularly sustained. I think this sell-off has more legs. I think it's got further to go before we see an end to it. But if you're someone that believes in longer term cycles of the market, if you're someone that believes in Bitcoin long term and not someone that is trying to, or more importantly, even worse, I should say, relying on the market ripping up tomorrow to save your house, or save your savings, or save your portfolio for any reason, then these are historically the times that you want to start getting excited about accumulation. Pretty interesting. I spoke about these prices, right? Sub 70K being somewhat historic. And let me show you why. It's actually because of this. So if you look back on my channel, you'll see that the first video I posted over a year ago, this was in June 2024, 70K Bitcoin, is this our last chance to get at these prices? Turns out it wasn't our last chance to get at these prices. Obviously, I'm being dramatic with the title there, but kind of an interesting full circle moment. If you look here on the chart, I've marked out the 4th of June 2024. But I suppose my point with talking about this is a long-term game for those of us that are treating this as an investment, not as short-term trading opportunities. And I've spoken about short-term trading opportunities before, but at the core of what I do and why I'm actually interested in this is accumulating the asset over time. And so much has changed since the last time we were at 70K. The market has matured so much. The market has grown so much. And if you zoom out and look at this on a much broader time horizon, you'll see that this sort of pullback is actually totally within spec, if you will. It's not something to be surprised about. And in fact, it is in these times when everyone is very upset and everyone is very stressed out, and people who've just tried to start getting into the market are getting out of the market. That's the time when, if you're seasoned and you've been around the block a few times, you start to get more excited, because it is in that moment where you look like an absolute maniac, an absolute irresponsible fool for buying the asset at the prices we're at, when it looks like we're just about to fall off a cliff. And we are, in fact, falling off a cliff in many ways. The reward that you get for investing in those times versus the opposite is pricing advantage. And pricing advantage is arguably one of the best ways of de-risking trades or investments that you're making. And as we've discussed, you can see this reflected in the data from the Fear and Greed Index. This isn't actually the best chart of that, but you see the point, right? When the market is in extreme fear, typically that is the point which preceding just before the market starts moving up again. ETF flows. Okay, $545 million worth of outflows yesterday, about $500 million. Interestingly enough, though, and this ties into my point, take a look at this tweet from Eric Balshanus. Facts: only about 6% of the assets in the Bitcoin ETFs have actually left. 94% is hanging through, despite nasty 40% downturn and many being underwater. And this points back to what I've been talking about over the last couple of days, which is this pattern of big mega whale wallets accumulating and big holders in general accumulating, right? We know that Tom Lee's been buying. We know that Strategy's been buying. Both of those guys are both underwater now, right? MicroStrategy stock is down massively. Okay, I mean, just look at this chart. This is terrible, right? $113 on the day. And again, Strategy hasn't seen these prices in a very long time. And now, I'm not saying that because, I said this before, we don't want to base our investment strategy. I don't think it's wise to base one's investment strategy on what any other singular person is doing. But my point is, traders who've been in this, who've been in the markets over the long term, who have a long-term vision for this, are seeing these big sell-offs as buying opportunities. And you can get that effect by looking back at the daily chart long enough. I mean, okay, think how stupid you would have felt buying Bitcoin back here, right? November 2022. I know people that took out loans to buy spot Bitcoin in November 2022, by the way. And even at the time, I thought that was incredibly brave, okay? Potentially incredibly foolish, crazy move. I still don't think it's a good idea to borrow money in order to invest in Bitcoin, but look how they were rewarded. Think how stupid you would have felt buying Bitcoin back even August 2024. The all-time high must be in, right? We couldn't crack 70K properly this time. We've sold off. We're down 33%. This has got to be it. This has got to be the end. Not the case. Not the case. In fact, it was just a 33% discount on an asset that then went on to absolutely demolish those previous all-time highs. So that's the way, honestly, I'm looking at a sell-off like this. And yes, I think we can keep going. As I say, my next sort of price target is right in here around the 63k mark. But honestly, if we extend that, still interested. If we extend that quickly, rapidly, unless there's some massive fundamental reason why that should be, still interested. In fact, way more interested than where we are right now, even. And there we go. That's what I'll leave you with. I don't have a price prediction for you right now. I do suspect we're going to keep selling off for the near term foreseeable. I do expect that to slow down unless we start seeing spot holders offloading massive chunks of spots. You can already see the liquidations in the leverage market slowing down. You can already see less liquidation risk overall. And remember, we do have still, even with less leverage in the market overall, we do still have a looming short side liquidation risk to the upside. Any sort of turnaround from here would be extended by that. That's up to nearly $10 billion worth of short side liquidation risk, up at about $88,500. Remember, short side liquidations mean forced buying onto the market. But there we go. I think that's probably the biggest takeaway today. The numbers don't lie, as they say. Only about 6% of assets in the Bitcoin ETFs have left. Even though you see these outflows, contextually, it's not actually that big when compared to the overall pool of assets held in those ETFs. And as I say, versus the last time that I spoke about Bitcoin at 70k, the market has matured massively. The total amount of assets in these ETFs, the total amount of attention that this has gained from institutional investors, from really big players, improvements in the regulatory landscape allowing those guys to invest, the market's come on leaps and bounds. We're really in a totally different place than we were before. But one thing that seems to remain the same is the fact that everybody gets scared when Bitcoin starts selling off and forgets the fact that Bitcoin has been selling off like this. Bitcoin has been a volatile asset for the longest time. And it's that volatility that gives us the possibility for big returns. It gives us the possibility to buy in with lower risk versus what we expect from those future returns if you believe in the asset long term, if you believe in the way that the asset should change finance long term. But there we go. I'm just rambling at this point. Just my opinion, as always. Nothing I say should be considered financial advice. Thank you so much for watching. Plenty more to come. Catch you in the next one. Bye.